From 5 on your side, this is Today in St. Louis.
And the day is finally here. Good morning and happy Eclipse Day. It is Monday, August 21st. I'm Allie Corey. In just about 7 hours now, millions of people across the St. Louis area will have the experience of a lifetime. And this morning, our goal is to make sure you are prepared. We have live team coverage stretching from Colorado to Southern Illinois. And Rennie Knott, my partner in crime, is not here because he's anchoring our coverage from Carbondale, Illinois. Hey, Rennie, good morning.
Good morning, Allie. Yeah, I'm that guy down in Southern Illinois this morning. We're inside Saluki Stadium on the campus of SIUC. The lights in the stadium are on. You see the sun about to come up right now, but in a few hours, it's going to go dark. And down here, 14,000 people will be in the stadium to witness totality. We've been down here since yesterday morning. Let me show you some of the things that we were able to take in. We hung out at the dark area for a while. That's where the folks from NASA will actually be tracking the solar eclipse using telescopes over there. There's a Comic-Con going on here because they feel like they want to combine science and science fiction together. And of course, the band from SIUC was here blowing those horns and beating the drums as they warm up for today's celebration that will take place inside the stadium here at SIUC. Now, we've got you covered. As Allie said, we've got Scott Connell, a familiar face to Today in St. Louis. He'll be joining us live from St. Charles. Ryan Dean is going to be showing us what's going on in the air. He'll be live from Denver, Colorado. But first, we got to check in with Chester Lampkin because everybody wants to know, Chester, will the weather cooperate for us to take in this total solar eclipse?
Yeah, that's a good question, Rennie. I think we will see most of this eclipse, but this complex of thunderstorms not cooperating with our needs down here in Missouri and Illinois. So this is up over Iowa. Big time thunderstorms here. This complex starting to spread high cloud towards Chicago, towards central Illinois, and towards us here, southern Illinois and east central Missouri. So we'll see that cloudiness from time to time during the morning hours. At times it'll be quite thick, but then towards midday, I do believe we'll break up some of that cloudiness just as we head towards maximum eclipse. Notice the temperature curve there. They drop a couple degrees towards 1 o'clock. Highs in the 90s today. Watch for a spotty storm after maximum eclipse. Let's talk about what's happening with your traffic here. Here is Anthony.
All right, yeah, well, as we get you ready for the eclipse, I do want to talk about some very important safety tips. As you will get to where you're going from your car, if you don't actually get there in time, keep in mind the number one thing to remember if you are on the highway, on any road, do not stop and try to glimpse at the eclipse. Keep in mind, you've got cars all around you, and it just takes one accident to clog the highway. So let's all do our part to keep things moving smoothly today. From 55 to 141, we're at about 16 minutes right now. These are some of the routes that will start to bog down. From 44 to the Poplar Street, about 32 headed over towards Pacific, and from 70 down towards 64 if you're headed perhaps towards St. Charles County. Just keep in mind, we're going to start to be watching some of those routes back up. Again, right now, everything looking good, but the path of totality, that's where I'm expecting the heaviest traffic. And as I mentioned, so far, so good. All right, Rennie, back over to you.
All right, thank you, Anthony. That's a great point to make because as you head down here, it's down Highway 51. That's a 2-lane highway, so I'd expect that place to get backed up. If you can't make it down here, that's all right. A lot of places to go and check out the eclipse today. One of those spots in St. Charles County, and that's where we find the one and only Scott Connell. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, good morning, Rennie. I have staked out my seat already. The sun's going to be right there, and I am ready to go. I've got my solar eclipse glasses, my chairs here. I've got some bug spray. I've got the sunscreen. As Chester said, we're going to get some clouds this morning, but there's still going to be some sun through there, so come prepared. I'm at Bromelsick Park right now, Klondike, Quail Ridge. Those are the 3 parks in St. Charles County that have the special activities today. There's lots going on. There's music, there's food, there's fun, but they're only limiting it to 1,000 people, and all those people already should have their tickets at this point. If you didn't get your packet yet, you can still pick it up over at the Youth Activities Center in Darden Prairie. So that's the way things are standing at this point. Want to tell you now, we're going to head about 800 miles off to the west. And we're heading out to about 30,000 feet up in the sky where there's a group that's going to take in the eclipse today. Our Ryan Dean is live at Denver International Airport. Hey, Ryan, I really got to tell you, I like that shirt.
Well, thank you very much, Scotty. Even though I'm here in Colorado, I still want to rep Missouri. And you may be asking, why am I in Denver this morning? Well, this is where my flight is taking off from, and it looks like the path of our flight, at least some of it, especially when we get into Missouri, will be near the line of totality, and we'll actually be landing in St. Louis right about the time of totality where you folks at home will be watching that. So Southwest Airlines has identified 5 flights basically that are regular scheduled flights where passengers are most likely to experience maximum effects of the eclipse. 3 of those 5 are going to St. Louis, including the one I'll be on. The flights originate from Portland, Seattle, and Denver. Now, I flew out here yesterday, and on my flight was Rebecca Dieter from Edwardsville. She's here just for the return flight back home. She says the trip is perfect because it combines her 2 favorite things, flying and watching the sky.
I had been planning for the eclipse for quite a while and tried to book rooms in Carbondale in Southern Illinois last December, and they were already sold out. And so when Southwest announced these flights, that was perfect.
Now, Southwest is not guaranteeing a great view, but it looks like they are guaranteeing a great time. They'll be handing out eclipse glasses to passengers, also making cosmic cocktails. So, Rennie, I'm not sure exactly what we'll see, but I have my camera ready, a special filter on the camera. I'll record the action, I'll record the reaction, and bring it to you later this evening. That is the latest here in Denver. Ryan Dean will send it back to you in Carbondale.
All right, thank you, Ryan. That sounds like a pretty good time. 35,000 feet above the Earth. Checking out the total solar eclipse. Not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Of course, KSEK, News Channel 5, on your side. We are the place to be all day long for total solar eclipse coverage. We will have a special coming up at noon. That'll run all the way till 2 o'clock. And of course, you can always check us out on KSEK.com. Much more from Carbondale coming up as the hour develops. But for now, let's toss it back to Allie in the studio with today's headlines. Once again, good morning, Allie.
All right, Rennie, thanks so much. Good morning to you. And we are following some developing news for you this morning. Search and rescue efforts are underway for 10 American sailors. They went missing after the Navy ship they were on crashed into another vessel east of Singapore. 5 other sailors were also injured in this crash, and our Abby Larico is working to learn more for us this morning. So, Abby, what is the very latest?
Well, Allie, a Navy spokesman tells NBC News the collision between the 2 ships is being treated as an accident at this point this morning. Now, the American Navy destroyer involved is the USS John S. McCain. It has significant damage and flooding. The other vessel is a 30,000-ton oil tanker sailing under a Libyan flag. Now, of the 5 sailors who were hurt, 4 went to the hospital, but none have life-threatening injuries. The ship was en route to Singapore for a routine operation. Now, you may recall this is actually the second crash for a Navy fleet ship in Asia this summer. Back in June, 7 sailors died in a crash apparently caused by crew member mistakes. Now, the U.S. Navy is getting significant help looking for those 10 missing sailors here today, both from the Singaporean and Malaysian militaries. We'll continue monitoring this situation from the newsroom, but for now, Allie, back to you.
Abby, thank you. Today, President Trump will speak to the nation about the war in Afghanistan. The White House says the president will discuss the path forward in Afghanistan and South Asia. One of the options would include sending 3,000 to 5,000 more troops to Afghanistan. That address is happening at 9 o'clock tonight. 6:09 on this eclipse day. A lot of people keeping an eye on that forecast, Chester, and you're looking at some clouds.
Yeah, I am, and I just realized I'm on the wrong graphic, so let's go over here. But basically, it happens on Eclipse Day. We are looking at some cloudiness across the St. Louis area, so this is what's happening right now. It's 78, it is just partly cloudy, so if the eclipse were right now, it would be all good. But unfortunately, there's some high clouds off to our north and west that'll be moving in our direction. I do believe those clouds will be with us for the start of the total eclipse, but around midday, so just as the eclipse is really getting underway, we'll start to see that cloudiness thin out somewhat, and we'll see an improvement in the sky condition. Still, though, with the cloudiness around, you need to have those solar glasses on. It does not matter, regardless of the cloud level that we have across the area. The worst places to see the eclipse out over mid-Missouri, where there's a chance for some thunderstorms. We could get a spot storm here too, but mainly after the eclipse is coming to an end. Let's talk about what's happening with that morning commute. Any busier out there yet?
No, you know, it hasn't actually gotten too busy this morning. Still looking at light to moderate volume here. You can see 270 Doherty Ferry every now and again. Look at all that space between your northbound lanes. So we're doing all right. Southbound lanes picking up as well. Something unusual we usually don't see, and that's those southbound lanes. Perhaps folks just taking the day off to get an early start headed south on those interstates down 55, also 57. Watching those very closely this morning. Haven't seen too much in terms of any backups just yet. But again, remember, it just takes one accident to clog the highway. Right now, we've got a little obstruction in the highway near 270 southbound at Ladue. But as you just saw from the camera, we're moving okay. Keep in mind, just some debris in the roadway there. Earlier, we did have an incident on the 170 ramp. This is 170 southbound, 270 westbound near the airport. Sounds like that was on the on-ramp, not affecting traffic all that much, perhaps the cars on the shoulder. And as I mentioned, watching those interstates in Illinois for you, south of Mount Vernon and even on the Missouri side, south of Arnold down towards Perryville. Right now, our speeds are still in the 60s and even the 70s in some spots. So we're doing all right, at least right now. Allie, over to you.
All right, Anthony, thanks. It is 6:11. One person is dead in an overnight crash, another injured in a shooting. We have a look at your top local headlines. That's coming up at 6:14. And do you have any concerns about today's eclipse? That's meteorologist Jessica Quick. She is live on Facebook right now answering your questions. Just head over to the KSDK Facebook page to join in on the conversation.
Good morning and welcome back. We are live in Carbondale, Illinois. One of the spots for totality, probably one of the best spots in the nation for totality. That is why the world has converged on this spot in southern Illinois. Joining me now is the man who helped bring the world here to town. This is Bob Bear, SIUC co-chair for the Eclipse. Am I getting all that title correct there?
Yes, you are.
Well, good morning to you. How excited are you right now?
I'm really excited. We woke up with a great morning. I saw Venus up in the sky by my house on the way here, just really bright. So that got me excited seeing that. And it's empty now, but this place is sold out. It will fill up.
When I spoke with you yesterday, you talked about how moving of a day this could be for people. That is beyond just science. So recap that feeling you had when you saw a solar eclipse for the first time.
Well, when I saw it for the first time in Indonesia, I was just mesmerized by it. You know, I was taking data at the time, but once I got that data rolling and everything was happening and I looked up at it, I practically had tunnel vision just staring at it. It was just under 2 minutes and 10 seconds in Indonesia, and it was absolutely awesome. And I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to all of these people seeing that and then telling us afterward, what did you see? Because it's different for everyone.
You told me that you've been planning this for practically 4 years now?
Well, yeah, someone contacted me just over 3 years ago, and then the real planning got going right at 3 years. Actually, this is the anniversary of it today. My first national conference with the AAS, the American Astronomical Society, on Eclipse 2017 planning was 3 years ago to the day.
Wow, that's incredible. Of course, a lot of folks are here in the scientific community, including NASA. What are you guys looking to grasp from watching this total solar eclipse?
Well, there's a lot of science being done on this day. Obviously, all the NASA assets out there, all the NASA-funded projects. We're going to learn a lot from this, and we're spread out across the country, the whole path. The project I'm affiliated with, Citizen Kate, we have 68 telescopes all across the country. The science will be great, but more than that, getting people interested in science and sparking that enthusiasm and getting this country really interested in science. This is a big day for it.
Big day for the little kids, too. You really think that they should take part in this and understand what's going on?
Absolutely. The events going on here, we're all set up family friendly with, we call them kids for all ages zones over there. But yeah, having them see this is awesome, but taking part in these events that have been going on for 4 days here, that's pretty awesome too.
Yeah, we rolled into town, and surprisingly, it wasn't that tough to get down here yesterday. We came in kind of early and started taking everything in. But as the day grew, it really started to get a little packed. 14,000 here, about 80,000 total for the city of Carbondale?
Yeah, those are the numbers that we're hearing from the state police. I think they were estimating a little higher than that for the Carbondale area. But time will tell. The forecast looks okay for today. You know, we knew we weren't going to have perfectly clear skies. Right. That would be odd. But it's looking pretty good today, and I look for a lot of people to come in.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Best of luck. You've been planning this for a while. Let's hope the weather works out, traffic works out, the sound system works, and we have a great time here at SIUC. That's the story here in Carbondale. Let's toss it back to Allie in studio.
Rennie, thanks. It is time now for a look at our top local stories in your morning rush. Police are investigating a deadly crash in North St. Louis. It happened just after 12:30 near the intersection of Hall Street and Adelaide Avenue. Police say a tractor trailer and a car were involved. One person died. Missouri State Senator Maria Chappelle-Nadal is apologizing but says she will not step down. Chappelle-Nadal made the comments during a news conference yesterday. Several top Republicans and Democrats in Missouri have called upon her to resign after she wrote on Facebook that she hoped President Trump would be assassinated. And it was a somber weekend in the world of entertainment. Legendary comedians Jerry Lewis and Dick Gregory passed away. Lewis helped raise millions of dollars for children with muscular dystrophy. And Gregory, a St. Louis native, became the first black stand-up comic to break the color barrier in major nightclubs in the early 1960s. And St. Charles County Police are asking for your help finding this guy, a missing canine officer. Tank was last seen in the area of West Sunny Hills and Ohms Road just after midnight this morning. You can see here he is wearing a white collar with black letters that read police. Again, his name is Tank. Anyone with information is asked to call St. Charles County Police. All right, Chester, we're going to send it over to you.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. Eclipse day. Let's get to that forecast right now. 93 in St. Louis. That peak heating will happen after the eclipse comes to an end. We'll have high cloudiness out there. We're going to keep an eye on that because that will have an effect on your viewing of the eclipse. Certainly going to see some obscuration of the sky as a result. And any storms, there could be one or two in the morning hours, but any storms really that impact you will happen after the eclipse towards the end of the event. So keep the umbrella nearby for later on. 78 bus stop forecast for that 7 o'clock temperature. We are dry for the morning hours, but we see that high cloudiness being blown off the top of these thunderstorms up over Iowa. So no thanks to Iowa, not really Iowa, but the storms over Iowa. We will see some cloudiness, especially for the morning hours. There's a slight risk, or a marginal risk, I should say, of severe weather, mainly north of I-70 on the Missouri side and north of US 50 on the Illinois side, but I'm not terribly concerned about severe weather today. We are mostly dry for the morning. There could be a stray storm, but it's really this afternoon after the eclipse is over when we have a few storms. So I think our computer is generating them too fast. I think it'll be, again, after the eclipse, after 2, 3 o'clock. We'll get isolated to scattered thunderstorms across Missouri and Illinois. The placement of these storms will be random, so not everyone will get rain, and you may drive through 1 or 2 storms and downpours. Heading into tomorrow, more widespread stuff as a front crosses through. Cooler, less humid weather as we head towards later in the week. Today is a toasty one. We'll end up in the 90s today. Best chance for a storm after the eclipse. And again, there will be some high cloudiness around, so that will impact your eclipse viewing. The end of that 7-day forecast, by the way, looking really good. Grab those eclipse glasses. You'll need them no matter what the cloud cover. Let's talk traffic now with Anthony.
Yeah, and like Scott, he had the sunscreen and the water and everything. If you are going to be traveling around town, just keep in mind we are expecting lots of more company on parts of Illinois interstates and even across parts of Missouri interstates this morning. 55. Every now and again, I've noticed some of these sensors turn red. Not sure if it's just people pulling over on the highway or what, but I haven't heard of any reports of accidents. Here's a look at 55. You can see those northbound lanes are heavier than the southbound lanes, so it seems as though most folks are just headed into work and school like any other day. Across parts of 64, Brentwood starting to see a little bit of slowing, as I mentioned earlier. Every now and again, a little bit of slowing. You see right there, that little section there, getting onto 64 from 170, and there are your cars. You can see a nice steady stream flowing through Brentwood right now. 270 near the 170 interchange looking really good. Look how light that traffic is as you get ready for school and work this morning. No issues for North County drivers, and even coming in from Illinois right now, our speed sensors are all green down below, and you see folks coming in from Illinois. Remember, those eastbound lanes over the bridge themselves will have lane restrictions on the bridge. And here's a peek out at Mount Vernon. We don't talk about this too much, but you can see the light volume cars on the road. Not too bad. Even one guy's got his camper. He's ready to go this morning. But again, no accidents or incidents to report out there right now. Allie, over to you.
All right, Anthony, thanks. It is 6:22. We have a lot more of our live team coverage of today's eclipse, including why NASA says this could change what we know about the sun. But first, if you plan on watching the eclipse today, there are some things you need to know. Our Jessica Quick is answering some of your questions. She is live on Facebook. She's going to be live here on air at 6:24. Can you feel the excitement? We're just hours away from an incredible sight in the sky. The eclipse is something almost all of us have never seen before, and that means many of us have questions. And for that, our Jessica Quick is in the Weather Center answering some of those for you this morning. Good morning, Jess.
Good morning. Yeah, everybody's up and getting ready for this big event. I have a lot of questions about what time the totality is going to be in certain towns. So I've been looking that up, answering those questions. Also, another really important question, I've had people asking about the glasses. Someone said that they could see a light bulb through the eclipse glasses, and you shouldn't be able to see anything but the sun. So you want to make sure they have the requirement number. So I put that on our Facebook Live. You can see that on the inside of your glasses. It has to be a specific number. A lot of people also asking about the weather today, where to go to see the most of this eclipse. We've been talking with Chester, things that we have been tracking the last couple of days. The cloud cover looking better, actually lesser farther south. So south of St. Louis, back around Carbondale, looks like they're going to see more of the eclipse. So we're going to be here answering your questions. A lot of people are asking where they can still get the glasses. Check out our website. We have a full list of some of the stores that are possibly still selling these glasses, and you want to call ahead. And then a lot of people that won't actually be able to go outside, we have good news for you. We have our special that starts at 12:30, and you can watch that on Channel 5, and you can watch that on our website. So a lot of good information coming in. A lot of good questions, so we're going to continue answering those for you.
All right, Jess, thanks so much. And as Jess just said, she will be on Facebook Live until 7 o'clock this morning, so you can join in on the conversation right now. Just head over to the KSDK Facebook page. Today in St. Louis, we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. It's time for Sammy Stars. It doesn't matter what you're wearing for the eclipse. You need to make sure you wear those glasses. You might not be as cool as these guys. Check out Wally and Maya. They've got their eclipse glasses, which is very important, and those pretty awesome eclipse shirts too. They might be the coolest dogs in St. Louis. If you want to see your pet here on TV, all you have to do is tweet at us using the hashtag #SammyStars. And today's in-studio pet comes from the Humane Society of Missouri. York here is a 1-year-old beagle mix with big floppy ears and an even bigger heart. He would love a big backyard to play in, and of course, a family who loves him and who couldn't love that sweet face. You can meet York at the Humane Society's Chesterfield Valley Center. And we want to take a moment this morning to thank everybody who took part in Clear the Shelters over the weekend. The Humane Society says they had 90 animals adopted on Saturday. The APA of Missouri had 100. Helping Strays of Monroe County adopted out 16 dogs and 10 cats. And Stray Rescue of St. Louis had 25 adoptions. For some shelters, that was double, triple, even quadruple their normal amount of adoptions. So some really great news to report this morning.
From 5 on your side, this is Today in St. Louis.
And a big welcome back to you. The time is 6:31. I'm Allie Corey, and in less than 7 hours now, darkness will settle over the St. Louis area. It will be an incredible thing to see, but it will also give scientists some very important information. Our very own Rennie Knott is hanging out with a team from NASA. He anchors our eclipse coverage from Carbondale, Illinois. Good morning, Rennie.
Good morning, Allie. Yeah, we're going to have a representative from NASA join me at 6:45 to talk about the eclipse. And I'll tell you something, when he's here, I'll be the dumbest guy in the house. These guys have so much knowledge about what's going on. And basically, this total solar eclipse is going to give them a prime opportunity to really observe the sun and take in a great deal of data that they say will help us in the future, especially when it comes to communications, when you think about satellites and also our cell phone services. But of course, those of us on the ground, all we want to know is, will we be able to see the sun, or will the clouds be in the way? And the guy to check in on that will be our Chester Lampkin. So Chester, all the pressure's on you right now. What's your forecast for the eclipse?
Right, no big deal. I got this, guys. I got this. Please, Lord. 78 degrees. We do have some cloudiness out there, but it's actually fairly bright as the sun has just come up. Look at that dew point. It is very muggy as we start the day. Unfortunately, there's a complex of thunderstorms that has really literally blown up over Iowa over the last several hours, and it's spilling some of that high cloudiness in our direction. So far, though, it's stayed north of St. Louis. That's positive news. Maybe we can escape the worst of it and we'll have a bright morning. I'm still thinking we'll have high cloud around, some of it thick at times, but by midday it should thin out somewhat. Temperatures getting to the 80s to near 90 degrees later this afternoon, and a few storms are also possible after maximum eclipse. Doing some travel, we got you covered. Mid-Missouri, not the best place for eclipse viewing. Further south and southeast, a little bit better chance to see that sunshine. Anthony is talking about traffic now. What's happening with that?
Well, we've had some issues this morning. Now we're starting to see we've got more cars on the road. We're starting to see some things happen. This is a look at 70 at Hanley. You can see we're not looking all that bad from this vantage point, but I just heard of a rollover single car accident through the stretch of roadway. Not sure if it's actually on the highway or off. Or here we go. You can see there's the chopper. I want to show you that again, and you can see looks like there's crews down below. So there's 70, so it doesn't look like it's affecting the interstate, and there's a ramp there. So this is possibly as you get on to 70, but again, keep in mind 70 does not seem to be affected by this, at least from that vantage point. Again, there you can see there's the on and off ramp. This looks like it's right around UMSL. There's your UMSL campus there, and I would suspect this is the Florissant area. Your Hanley exit is right there. So again, this is right as you get on to 70. It looks like westbound, so perhaps you can't do that coming from this direction, again, from the UMSL campus. Around the rest of town, we're looking okay. We haven't had too much in terms of any accidents or incidents aside from this one. Of course, I'll keep you posted as we go through the rest of today in St. Louis, and we'll have updates for you all morning long, even until the afternoon. All right, ready? Over to you.
All right, thank you, Anthony. I will expect the traffic around Saluki Stadium is going to be pretty crazy as well. They're expecting 14,000 people to be in the house to witness totality here in Carbondale. But this isn't the only place where there's going to be some happening events. Our Scott Connell is down in St. Charles County where they're going to have total eclipse of the park. Good morning, Scott.
That's right, Brenny. Hi, we are talking about 3 St. Charles County parks that are having special events today. Nancy Gomer's here this morning. And Nancy, you started planning for this over a year ago, and the tickets went really fast.
They did. We sold out very quickly. We tried to accommodate the community as best we could here in St. Charles County. The St. Charles County Parks and Recreation Department is partnering with the Astronomical Society of Eastern Missouri, and we're going to have 1,000 guests at 3 celebrations, Total Eclipse in the Park celebrations, at Klondike Park in Augusta, Bromwelsick Park here in Defiance, and then at Quail Ridge Park in Wentzville.
All right, and now if you don't already have tickets, you know, there are places you can go otherwise too.
There are. You know, if you didn't pick up your event packet, you won't be able to get into the park. You have to have this placard, this pass to get in, as well as your glasses. You're going to need those. So you can still pick that up at the Youth Activity Park, which is located in Darden Prairie. We also have some other areas to go to. 2 other parks are in the line of totality, so we're going to send overflow to the Youth Activity Park as well as the historic Daniel Boone home in Defiance.
And here and at the other 2 parks that are having the big festivities, you've got music and food.
We've got music, food trucks, you guys, concessions. We're going to have a vision. I assume people are going to take selfies in front of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a great time. And we have the Astronomical Society of Eastern Missouri folks here helping us.
Absolutely. And of course, I'm going to grab this from you. The beautiful St. Charles County Eclipse t-shirt. How about that from St. Charles County Parks? Rennie, I'm going to get you a t-shirt. How about that?
Still for sale.
They're still for sale out here. We'll have them today.
Extra large. Scott Connell down at Total Eclipse of the Park. Hopefully my voice wasn't too bad for you guys. Of course, this is the thing to have. The solar eclipse glasses, you want to have those on when you look, but then you have some questions about it, like when should I put them on? How long should I have them on? And when is it safe to take them off? With more on that, let's toss it to our Abby Larico live in studio. Good morning, Abby.
Good morning to you, Rennie. Looking good out there. Now, you want to make sure once the sun is coming up later, whenever you put your glasses on, you put them on looking down with your back to the sun, and then only then can you look toward the sky. And I hope I'm looking toward the camera here. Now, you can only take the glasses off during the full eclipse, so once we've reached totality. But even if you see just a sliver of light, these glasses should stay on. They should also come back on before the eclipse starts to phase out. Now, the length of totality depends on where you're watching from. But the very, very first thing to do here this morning, test your glasses to make sure they work properly. Many bought online. We've told you before, there could be counterfeit. They could be doing more harm than good. We have a list of the markings you should check for on ksdk.com, but we know those can get confusing, so you can also test your glasses by looking through them inside. If you can see anything beyond maybe just the filament of a very bright light bulb, and even that should be very faint, the glasses you're using aren't strong enough.
I can look around our parking lot. I see nothing through these unless I look up at the sun. That's the only thing I see is the sun. Now, if I were to look through a pair of the counterfeit ones and I looked and I saw a car, I'd be able to see the reflection coming off the car. I've seen ones that are so dim, it's like looking through a pair of sunglasses.
Now, you might have gotten a hold of your pair of solar eclipse glasses months ago, and they might have just been kind of floating around in a drawer or something. Well, you want to check now for any scratches or dents on the lenses, because even that could be a bad sign. Now, if you weren't able to score any glasses, or you think yours might not work properly, you want to head to ksdk.com for some DIY projects you can do to view the event safely. Rennie?
Thank you, Abby. Hey, here's our low-tech look at what the eclipse is going to look like. Go ahead, Joe, show them. It's going to look something like that, only up in the sky when you see this. And starting at noon today, right here on 5 on Your Side, we will have continuing coverage of the eclipse as it happens from noon until 2 o'clock. If you can't catch us on TV, you can always catch us online at ksdk.com. Now let's head back to the studio with Allie with what else is going on today. Good morning, Allie.
Hey, Rennie, good morning. Thanks so much. It is 6:39 on this very exciting morning. We know the weather and the roads, both a huge concern this morning. Chester and Anthony are back with information you need to know at 6:41. And do you have any concerns about today's eclipse? Meteorologist Jessica Quick is live on Facebook right now answering your questions. Just head over to the KSDK Facebook page to join in on the conversation. We'll be right back.
Moon, what are you doing here?
I'm gonna block you!
You're gonna block me? Is that what you think? No, don't block me. Oh no, don't get closer to me. No, you're gonna block me. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Totality! I'm a shadow.
Yes, you are.
You just got moons.
This might actually be better than the real thing. David Thomas sent us this video of him and his kids demonstrating how the eclipse will work. Thank you so much for sending us that video and bringing us a smile this morning. That's adorable. Yes. And I know everyone is keeping their eyes to the sky before it happens because we want to know if there's going to be clouds, Chester.
Well, if our sky looks anything like this, Allie, we will be golden. Not as cute as that video, though, but we'll have a pretty good viewing of the eclipse if we can keep that sky like that. This is what it looks like out there right now. It's 78 degrees here in St. Louis under that, let's call it partly cloudy sky in St. Louis. And essentially, there will be some high clouds to deal with a little bit later on this morning. Temperatures holding in the 70s for another hour or two, 80s by midday, and we'll spark off a couple of thunderstorms probably after maximum eclipse. This is our problem. We've got high clouds spreading out ahead of this complex of thunderstorms. It's just north of St. Louis, and it stretches up towards Chicago as well. This cloud cover moving our way. It looks like a few storms starting to pop up in central Missouri. We'll keep an eye on that very closely, too. There may be an isolated storm north of St. Louis this morning, but it's really after the total eclipse. I think this is too soon. I think after 2, 3 o'clock is when we start to get these pop-up thunderstorms. A lot of them seem to be along southern Illinois, but a few may back their way into the metro and into southeast Missouri, up over the Ozark Hills, down off to our south. So if you're watching us from Farmington, places like that, the metro could get a spotty storm again. This will be mostly after the maximum eclipse. Watch for storms tomorrow as a front slices through, and once that pushes through, cooler, less humid air as we roll towards Wednesday and the next several days. We are rain-free and I wouldn't say cloud-free, but generally dry right on through the upcoming weekend. So there it is. We'll end up at 93 today. We'll see 1 or 2 storms, spotty in nature, widespread thunderstorms as we head towards tomorrow, and then cooler weather. Again, the high cloud will be with us today. That will obscure the sky somewhat, but I think they'll be thin enough where we will be able to see most of the eclipse from all locations. Anthony is going to do Another update on the traffic. What's happening?
Yeah, we're still looking good this morning. I got to say, it hasn't been all that bad. Watching our traffic cameras, it is starting to pick up, though. The volume on 270 near Doherty Ferry, northbound lanes there. Also coming in from St. Charles County near O'Fallon, not looking all that bad. Same deal for North County. There's a peak at 270 near 367. Look at 55 near Imperial. You can see those northbound lanes have picked up, and even southbound lanes doing okay, at least right now. As I show you the maps, you can see, again, closer to the metro area, all green sensors pretty much everywhere. Now, the areas we'll be watching through the day will be south of Mount Vernon on 57 and also 55, 44, and 70. All right now have green sensors, but if you are a Wazer and you get on that Waze app, I use that from time to time, you'll notice south of Champaign, I'm already starting to see a traffic jam on 57 headed towards the bi-state, right into our region. So it would probably be in the next couple of hours we'll start to see all of those folks coming in from Champaign, Chicago, down towards Effingham and Mount Vernon to try and get a glimpse of totality. But right now, in our area, we're doing okay. We're going to watch for those visitors, though. Allie, back over to you.
All right, Anthony, thanks. Well, we all feel a little bit like scientists today, right? We're getting so excited to study the sun in a way we never have before. But for actual experts, today's solar eclipse could change what we know about the sun. Pretty exciting stuff. Let's go back out to Rennie, who is in Carbondale, for more on that. Hey, good morning, Rennie.
Good morning, Allie, and I'm going to get to somebody who has all that knowledge you spoke of, because if you're asking me about it, forget about it. It ain't going to happen that way. Stephen Clark from NASA joins me live here, and first of all, thanks for being here this morning. And the biggest question is, for NASA, why is this such a big deal?
We don't get this type of vantage point here on Earth to see a total solar eclipse like this. With the moon blocking out the entire part of the sun, this is going to allow us to look at the upper atmosphere of the sun in much more detail than we can even do with our satellites up in space. So this is truly a unique opportunity.
For the everyday person, what can they see from NASA that's going to benefit their lives down the line?
We're studying the sun, and we want to look at it up close like we're going to do today, because the sun is constantly putting off energetic material. It's called the solar wind, and it goes throughout the whole solar system, and it interacts with Earth. And when it interacts with Earth, we call it space weather. There can be geomagnetic storms, we call them, where these storms interact with the atmosphere and disrupt communications. And if it's severe enough, it could even knock out power grids, which happened in Quebec City in 1989. It could interfere with navigation of aircraft. So we need to study this and understand it better and better predict it, so that then we can do a better job of preparing for those types of things.
Yeah. Now this, of course, is going to be one of the better places for totality. So when you think about that, how much information do you think you guys could pull in just from this location alone if the weather works out?
Yes, and we're keeping our fingers crossed for that, and it looks good right now. So we'll have 2 minutes and about 36 seconds worth of totality. And that's when we're going to be looking at the upper atmosphere of the sun and pulling in data from all over the country during the totality. We've got balloons that are going up. We've got aircraft that are flying that are going to be observing it. Our satellites are going to be looking at it at different vantage points, although they won't have that unique opportunity that we're going to have here. So all of that data, we're going to accumulate that. Researchers are going to look at that data, and hopefully we can unlock more mysteries from the sun.
And real quick before I let you go, for you personally, how moving, how stirring is it to be there when everything goes dark?
This will be my first time to see an eclipse. So I'm very
Wow.
excited about this.
Wow.
And to be here in Carbondale, it's fantastic. So I cannot wait.
All right, Steve, thanks so much for joining me this morning. And enjoy this.
Thank you.
Take it
You
all
do.
in from the soul as well as from the mind. I appreciate this. We'll have much more solar eclipse coverage coming up on Today in St. Louis. We'll be right back.
We are inching closer to the total solar eclipse, less than 7 hours now until we reach totality. But many of us still have questions. So let's check back in with Jessica Quick. She is working to answer as many viewer questions as she can for us this morning. Good morning, Jess.
Good morning. Well, the top questions are mainly about the glasses and about the weather. So people are asking about if they have prescription glasses, what to do. You want to wear your normal glasses, and then put these on top to view the eclipse. And it's important to note that you want to keep these on the entire time unless you're in totality. The only time you can take them off is during totality. So you want to make sure you know exactly when that totality starts and ends, so you can be in a safe zone, and then you want to put them back on right away. A lot of people are still asking where to get them and how do you know if they're certified. You can still get them at certain stores. You want to call ahead, but we do have the list on ksdk.com to some of the stores around the St. Louis Metro and then other locations. The number is going to be on the inside of the glasses, so you want to check that out. Also, a lot of questions where to go for the least amount of cloud cover. Chester's been talking about the clouds moving in all morning, so north of St. Louis is probably going to be a little bit cloudier. If you want to see a better vantage point, probably heading south and southeast, but he's going to talk about that here in a few minutes.
All right, Jess, thanks so much. And Jess will continue to answer your questions on Facebook Live for just a few more minutes now until 7 o'clock this morning. So you can join in on the conversation right now. Just head over to the KSDK Facebook page. And for more on that forecast, let's turn it over to Chester.
Yeah, so as promised, let's talk about the cloud cover. And this is what I've been concerned about. You see this live picture coming in from St. Louis Lambert, and you can see that right there. There's already high clouds starting to spill into our skies from the north. It's because there's a complex of thunderstorms over Iowa. The rain probably won't make it here, but the cloudiness certainly will. Temperatures are also very warm. It's a humid day, so drink plenty of fluids when you're out viewing the eclipse later on this afternoon. We're mostly dry for the morning hours. Around midday, I'm hoping the clouds thin out just a little bit, and then after about 2, 3 o'clock, we'll dodge a storm or two. High temperatures up towards 90 degrees here in St. Louis. Let's switch over to Anthony Slaughter. He's back with a look at those roads.
Well, they're looking good this morning. I got to say, we haven't seen too much in terms of any jams. Here's a look at 270 Doherty Ferry. Look at those northbound lanes, doing all right. Not even hitting the brake lights. Usually this time of day, we're already starting to see things back up, but we're doing okay. And there's quite a bit of southbound traffic here this morning as folks are probably headed into where the path of totality will be. Starting to get a couple of breakdowns on the road, one at 64 westbound at Spady, also another one 270 southbound near Doherty Ferry. But again, these are not affecting the speeds all that much. And again, the path of totality, this is where we'll be keeping our eye on throughout the day from 70, 44, 55, and also 57 as you head around town. But so far, so good. No major incidents or accidents that are slowing things down. We're all moving as we should. Allie, over to you.
Great news. If you are just waking up, you have joined us at the perfect time. We're about to go across the country with everything you need to know ahead of today's eclipse. Live team coverage at 6:56.
I'm Randy Knott, live in Carbondale, Illinois, one of the sites of totality during this total solar eclipse. 14,000 people will be on hand here in Saluki Stadium to capture it all. NASA as well as scientists from around the world are here to get as much data as possible on the sun.
I'm Scott Connell, live out of Brommelsick Park, St. Charles County. 3 St. Charles County parks today having celebrations with 1,000 people already ticketed to get into those parks. Sunscreen, water, bug spray. You'll need to take that along with your solar glasses. And it looks like we are going to get a good glimpse at this come midday, according to Chester, keeping our fingers crossed.
I'm Ryan Dean in Denver at the Denver airport, getting ready to jump on a flight and fly to St. Louis. We're scheduled to land right about the time of totality, hoping to get a great glimpse. Southwest has identified 5 flights they say will give passengers hopefully the best view of the eclipse. 3 of those fly into St. Louis. I'll be on one of those flights, getting all the sound, the action, the reaction. I'll have it for you later on this evening.
Thanks, Ryan. We are tracking this cloudiness over Iowa. These thunderstorms are spilling clouds in our direction. That is bad news. This high-level cloud will continue to move in our direction over the next several hours, though. I think it'll thicken up for the morning hours. By midday, it should thin out somewhat. Temperatures will be in the 80s later on, including right around totality. Then after that, temperatures go right back up towards 90 degrees. Watch for a pop-up shower or a thunderstorm. Doing some travel, we got you covered. Carbondale looks a little brighter down there, maybe in DeSoto and Farmington, places like that. South of St. Louis looks better. West of St. Louis, not as good. In St. Louis, we'll call it partly sunny today. Storms will also be with us tomorrow, then much better weather for Wednesday and the weekend.
All right, this morning we haven't seen much in terms of any heavy traffic. I've been looking at the cameras and we're doing okay. You'll notice 55 in your bottom right-hand corner, northbound lanes picking up, also 70 coming towards us. That's near Cave Springs. So everybody moving nicely this morning around town. Green sensors pretty much everywhere. We haven't even seen the normal backups we usually see, so maybe folks have taken off of work and school. Watching that path of totality throughout the day. Of course, we will have updates for you. Right now, so far, so good. Of course, you know, it just takes one accident to clog the highways, and we've gotten out scot-free so far this morning. No major ones, but we'll keep you posted throughout the Today Show.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
The weather is great and the traffic is wonderful.
Good so far.
The Today Show is next. Thanks so much for joining us.